Welcome back to another episode of Taste or Waste, a food review channel on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come back, but we have better news. There was a cruise, and on this cruise there was good food, and on this good food cruise there was vibes that did not include Coach Stutzer. This makes Steve happy, but it doesn't make Cos happy. And with that being said, introducing CIZZY, that's me, and
Stevie B. Eaton.
ooh, he almost barked at y'all. He almost barked. My words got mixed up. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the past 2 weeks, have been stuck here trying to find more clients, build my business, and train clients, and sweat and work out and hitting all my sessions and cardio and all that. Meanwhile, this gentleman was in Miami and Bimini Island and all these other places, and he was on a boat that had a gym on the boat that floated over the sea. I was stuck in Brookside, Kansas City, Missouri. I'll let him explain more. Where'd you go?
Hi, yes. So, I wish I could say that I'm glad to be back, but it was so nice to be away. A group of us decided to do something different for the holidays, specifically for Thanksgiving. So, what we did was that we went to Miami and then actually caught a cruise out of Miami on Virgin Voyages, which was cool. So it was actually a 5-day cruise, but so in order to do something different, we actually spent Thanksgiving Day in Miami and had dinner in Miami, and then we left the next day for our cruise. So it was great. So in our whole group that went, there was probably around 32 of us that went. So there was a large group. I probably knew maybe a little over half of that 32. So it was really
Did you guys
cool.
like introduce each other and do all the did you guys have any situation where you guys all met at one spot, introduced each other, met, or was it kind of like, okay, I know these 32 group of people are here with me because I just met?
Well, we actually was on GroupMe. So actually all of the one of my good friends, she was actually the travel agent. So my best friend was able to work with get all these people together, and then she created a GroupMe in the GroupMe app, and that's how we communicated. Prior to the cruise, letting know what things were coming up and those kind of things. But we didn't really do anything together until we actually got on the cruise, and she had a couple things that she had planned. The first night we had something, and then our last night we had something where the whole group got together.
I really wonder, so ladies and gentlemen, we do this taste or waste food reviews, but I also talk about business a lot on another content piece thing I do. And what I want to do is I want to break down the travel agency business and the travel agency world. So we might have to have his friend on my show and then have her back on this show, a short little breakdown of how she thinks about food and food exploration. But continue down your path of stories. 32 people, Miami.
Yes. So it was really kind of fun, something different, and I will have to, we'll probably have to do a separate one for the restaurant that we went to for Thanksgiving, because the restaurant we went to for Thanksgiving was called Barton G, and it was an amazing restaurant, but it was all about the experience and all about how they presented the food.
Okay.
So that will be for another show,
For sure.
because I think it deserves its own.
And Barton G also sounds like a very luxurious place. Now I don't know if it was, but you said they were very focused on presentation and the experience, but on top of that, the name gives this probably is gonna cost a lot. You ever just walked into a spot and they were named something, you're like, this is not good. It's gonna hit that check.
Which is kind of what it was. I mean, because I think they only have 3 of these restaurants, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's one in Miami, one in LA, and maybe one in New York, I think.
They're definitely expensive.
So yeah, so
just look at the locations.
It was definitely expensive, but I wanted a different experience. I want a different experience for the folks, for Thanksgiving, because hopefully this is something that can turn into a tradition. So yeah. So, but it was a great time.
Bi-yearly. Only on even years. 2022. Well, you did it on 23, so only on odd years. 2023, 2025, 2027. So you pass away.
Every year.
That could work too.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So,
so it was great. So I wanted to, do something a little bit different and do a taste excuse me, taste or waste cruise edition, talking about all the foods, because most of the time cruises are known for their cuisine that is actually showcased on the cruise.
mhm.
So, and this was no different. Actually, there were some things that were different on this cruise than were other cruises that I've been on, where the restaurants were set up a little bit different.
How many cruises you been on?
I've actually been just actually this is my second one.
Okay, so this was a little. This was like a whole. Would you say this was a significantly different experience than your first cruise?
Yes, I
Awesome.
will.
I
I
love it.
will.
Let's dive into it.
Awesome. So, to start, the first place that we went to was called the Galley. So, in comparison to the last time that I went, a lot of times cruises will have an area that's more like just an open buffet, which is kind of cool because you just go and get whatever you want. Well, the way that they had it differently, it was called the Galley, and it was made up of, I want to say, 6 to 8, 8 to 10 different restaurants, like that you basically would then go up and get whatever food you want. So there was a taco place, there was like a ramen soup place, there was a cheeseburger place. So you just kind of went to these individual things. So it was kind of like a string hall or parlor, KC, that
Yeah,
we have here in
yeah,
Kansas
yeah.
City, where you just kind of went up, but the food and everything is all inclusive, so you don't have to pay. You just got to
At your
go and
spot, right?
yeah, you just got to go and order your food. So the first thing that I actually got when I very first got it, we got on the ship, was a taco place, and we'll be showing you the picture. So the tacos were very good. The thing that was a challenge was that they only gave us 3 chips. So as you see by the picture, um,
They're very large chips.
they're very large
They're
chips. So
almost bigger than your tortilla.
they are actually. I didn't realize that, but yeah. Um, so the the tacos were good, but I was wanting like some like guacamole and chips and stuff, and
Hmm.
they're like, "Mofo, you get these 3 chips,
Three chips.
three
3 chips
chips,
only.
three
Slapping your
chips."
hand while you reach
Right.
for the other one.
So yeah, but it was good. But I did have to go somewhere else after that to get
What
more.
you wanted.
Yeah. So then I also was I love desserts, which we all know that from anybody that has watched the show, knows that I like desserts. So I saw this dessert, and it was a pumpkin spice. It was supposed to be a pumpkin spice cake.
And it looks beautiful, by the way, ladies and
It
gentlemen. As you can see, it looks very delicious. It's very
yes,
tasty. Honestly, it looks like the first bite is just going to be like explosion of good taste, right?
that's the way that it looks, but it actually was horrible. It
Mm.
was actually horrible. Like the mouthfeel was very uh, squishy. It was a different consistency. It was almost like a mousse, but it had no pumpkin flavor. And I don't know why they even called it a pumpkin spice anything,
Because there was
because
no pumpkin spice in that motherfucker.
there was not, and I was disappointed. I ended up throwing it away. But they had a lot of other desserts, a lot of other things that I tried throughout the cruise that were very good. That, however, was not good. So, and
Which
then
disappointed me because when I looked at that photo, I was like, "This looks like it was top tier. This is going to be similar. He's going to have a similar review on this as he had for the carrot cake at Bijou." Like I was thinking that there was going to be high expectations for this dessert in
yeah,
terms of based off strictly the visual, and then he was like, "It was absolutely trash."
yeah,
So
it
that was
was horrible.
disappointing. On to breakfast.
On to breakfast. So, I love breakfast, and breakfast loves me. So one of the things that I loved about the galley is that you had breakfast. You can get breakfast till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think it might have been after that. I don't know, but they had this one spot that I went to multiple times, and you could get bacons, eggs, hash browns, stuff like that. So as you see, one of the things that I always got, this was pretty much a meal that I got most of the time that I was on the ship,
Right.
because they had like a huge like planks of bacon that they would just give you. So it wasn't a whole, I'm gonna give you, 3 slices. It was all like, and it was crispy. It was perfect. It was just how I like to have my bacon.
They used the big spatula, grabbed it,
Right,
and
right. The
slammed it
tongs,
on
and
your
then they
plate, and
just
you
put
was
it on
like,
your
"Oh
plate.
hell yeah!"
And I'm like, this is what it's about. So I love the bacon, and the eggs were done well, but I also love the hash browns, because the little golden round hash browns, they they were very good. So I always, got bacon and hash browns. It could be an omelet or something else, but the staple was the hash browns and the bacon. So, and then also I was able to get there one day. I got a pastrami pastrami sandwich, and it was on rye. And I actually got a few more chips, as you see. I actually got a few more chips this time, so I'm very very happy about the handful of chips, even though I still could have had more.
There's a lot of people watching right now wondering, you got on a cruise, you're going on a luxurious trip. What encouraged you and inspired you to this freaking sandwich?
That's a very good question, Collis. So I am a basic person. Like I like to try the unique and different, but I also like to try the basic stuff to see how well people do with the basic stuff. Because not all the time is everybody can do a pastrami sandwich. You would think that they could, but that isn't necessarily the case. So I like to have I like to try the basic stuff, and I also like to try the unique stuff.
It's just like me as a personal trainer. I like to integrate some fun exercises, integrate some new weird shit just to have a little bit of fun. Obviously, safety first, but I like to integrate some fun things. But the telltale sign of a great trainer is a trainer who can just coach the basics, make sure you hit your goals with the basics, keep things simple, and yeah, it's like you look. All right.
Okay, because I don't remember the fun part of my training because I just did yesterday.
Bacons.
But anyway, okay, so yes. So again, as I was saying earlier, at this same spot, you're able to get like omelets. You get ham. This was a ham and cheese omelet, and again, I got my plank of bacon and my hash browns. So I'll.
How was the sausage, man? Because honestly, I think all sausage is trash. Like, don't get me wrong. I've been to a few places
Okay.
where it hits perfectly. There was a V. Okay, quick sideline story tell. I won't let it last longer than 60 seconds. So, when I graduated high school in 2014, yes, I just aged myself. Old man. I left at 17. I went to do a year of service, volunteer work, right? In Santa Cruz, California. In Santa Cruz, California, I was working on like a compound that had what are they called? Cabins and a auditorium and a kitchen and stuff. People would come there for conferences or events for over like a week, something like that. So I used to work all different types of jobs. One of the ones I did was I was a sous chef / just kitchen helper. One of the things our chef used to make were vegan sausage patties. So they weren't really sausage, but they were vegan, but they were like the best things on earth, and that's all I think about when I think about sausage patties. Because I've never liked sausage patties, but those vegan sausage patties was top tier. Moving on.
Gross. So yeah, I didn't like the sausage.
See?
So I got it both times. Well, but that's not always the case. I do generally like sausage, but I don't like. This was not a good sausage for me. So I got it this time thinking that it was going to be better than the first time I had it, but it wasn't. So that still ended up being left.
But the bacon was amazing.
Bacon was on point.
Omelet was top tier.
Yeah, everything was good.
Just making sure, because ham and cheese omelet, fuck that up.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. So, but then they also had different things, like different parfaits and fruit parfaits and fruit and stuff like that. So if you wanted to eat healthy, you could eat healthy because they also had like a salad bar that you can get, a made to order salad and soups and coffee bar in there. So all of this stuff was located in the galley. And this right here was a parfait. It was a mango parfait that had like a mango gel on the bottom of the yogurt. And then I put granola on the top, and then I just mixed it all together. And then I had it with some fresh pineapple.
Which he eats separate, which I think is a little weird, but y'all let me know in the comment section. I personally would add the fruit into the parfait. That's just me.
Because you're weird.
On to
I do it with blueberries though. So ultimately the the galley, was definitely a taste. I loved it. I would do that. I did that every day. I loved it. I loved the variety that they had. I love the way that it was set up, with it being set up different stations and things like that. So,
quick question. So in the galley, was this like a separate part of the ship with okay, so we're about to go through a few other restaurants, and what I want you to clarify is, are these like separate parts of the ship? You gotta walk over here to go to Gumbay. You gotta walk over here to go here. You gotta walk over here to go here. Or was the galley like the main food spot when you're on the ship, and these other restaurants are places you went off the ship? Moving on to Gumbay, and you can break that down.
Okay, cool. So yes, so the galley was something that was on like the 15th floor of the ship. I was on the 14th floor, so I only
There's
had to go
15
up.
floors in a ship.
Yep. So I only had to go up. There's actually 16 because there was like one that was like a half one.
Oh my god, these ships
That
are
was
huge.
a crow's nest. Yeah, I mean there was probably, I think they said maybe 3,000, 3,500 people on the ship, which is actually considerably smaller than the one I went on my first cruise. That there was like I want to say that there was like 7,500 people on the ship, and there was more floors, and yeah, it was huge. It was the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas, and it was actually one of the biggest ships that was on the sea at that time.
That is crazy.
So
yeah, I'm about to go do a whole YouTube search on how they create these things. Anyways.
Yeah, they're like floating cities. They truly are. So next, one of the things that Sonia, who was our travel agent, that she actually did was we all got together for dinner at a restaurant called Gumbay. So, and it was really cool because if you see by the logo, it has a couple shots in the actual logo for the restaurant. So the reason why that is that they play a game, right? So what they do. So what they do is, as you're waiting for your food and as they're bringing out some of the different things, they play a game with sake that you have to. Let me make sure I remember this. So it's a numbers game. So you can't say 3, 6, or 9. So what you would do is you would have, you'd have the people start to count, and like this person would go 1, and then 2, and then the next person would have to clap because it's 3.
Let's do it.
Then
1,
2, 4.
You said we can't say 5, huh?
No, we can't say 5. We can't say 6. Can't say 3, 6, or 9.
Okay, 3, 6, or 9. Let's do it really fast.
Okay.
1,
2, 4,
5, 7,
8. So you would have had a drink and you would have been out the game.
Gotcha.
So if you mess up, you have to drink. And so even once you got to like 33, if you didn't clap twice, you were out and you had to actually drink. And then the last person that was left was, going back and forth with the server, and which the server does this every night. So it's really not fair. But so then they were going back and forth, and she's just like 1, 2, just kind of going through. And then you end up really losing because you can't, because they can't drink. So you end up losing the game. But the thing that was kind of jacked up is that the last person, the person that she beats, who technically won, has to drink the rest of the bottle.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it was cool because you would whenever somebody had a drink, and you'll be able to hear it in one of the videos that we'll be able to show.
You got to, and you got to follow through. Just take a little nap out there. You'll wake up feeling so.
That they sent us, they brought out like a tray of different things. I can't remember all of them because I didn't hardly eat any of them because they did not, look good. But the one in the middle with the row of 3, the one in the very middle, I remember that was eggplant, and I did try it and it was good. And then the one to the the top left of that was potatoes, which was different. It kind of tasted more like a squash than a potato, but whatever. And then the one in the first row on the far right side was a spicy cabbage, which I don't do spicy, so I didn't eat it. So I didn't really care for this. It was kind of, I think, meant to be more of a palate cleanser, but it did not cleanse my palate. It only upset it.
Did you drink before or after the game? I mean, food. The clap game, was that before or after?
It was before.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I did have a drink, and as you see, it is a very beautiful drink, and it was supposed to be some like passion fruit type of drink, and it had no flavor.
This is the second time we went to a specific type of restaurant where the flavor of the drink that was supposed to be tasty wasn't flavorful. Starting to wonder. Anyways.
Yeah, so it was really, I mean, it wasn't nasty, but it just didn't have any flavor to it, or I didn't really taste any alcohol. So, you know how I am with that, not too happy.
He started singing, he said, and I wonder where the taste, where it's gone.
So yeah, so the next thing that we actually had was seafood corn dogs. I actually like the seafood corn dogs, and it had some kind of it was kind of a I don't want to say honey mustard, but what a sauce on the top, but it was actually different, seafood mixed, and it was actually really good. Like I enjoyed the seafood corn dogs.
Did it come really hot or was it a little cold?
No, it was hot because it was fried, so they just brought it out.
They probably put some Chick-fil-A sauce over the top.
So the next thing that we actually had was this spicy chicken, which was kind of like a General Tso's chicken or something like that, or orange chicken, but it had a really spicy sauce on it and sesame seeds. I don't do spicy, but everybody that had it, really enjoyed it and they actually came back. They actually wanted more, so they brought back more for us to have, as well. But
You grew up in the Midwest, right?
hmm
You grew up in a majority white population, right?
hmm
All right, moving on.
we'll talk about that later. So the next thing that they bought it was a seafood pancake. So the seafood pancake had crab, calamari, I think what shrimp, I think a kind of fish or something, and it actually was pretty good.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. It was had dough or whatever on both sides, and some people liked it, some people didn't, because some people don't do calamari
Mhm.
because it had like the calamari rings and stuff in it, and sometimes the texture with it
Texture will
being
throw you
tough,
off.
yeah, they don't like it. But I actually liked it. And then for dessert, we actually had, well, before that, we'll insert a couple videos that shows them cooking the bacon and cooking the shrimp. Um, the shrimp was good. They had a beef that was good, but the bacon had no flavor, which is very very interesting. I know you're looking at me like, what do you mean bacon didn't have no flavor? It actually didn't have any flavor. Like I needed them to put something on it because it was just not. I got nothing from it. But anyway, so for dessert, we actually had this mango green tea sorbet, and it was very good. With that, you also had a topping. You had I think it was called like a Korean marshmallow or something, a Japanese marshmallow, and then you had some caramel, and then another crunchy topping that you can put on it. I didn't even use that stuff. I just ate the sorbet because it was actually very good.
10 out of 10 sorbet,
Yeah, 10 out of 10 sorbet.
as long as that.
So that was gumbe. Unfortunately, gumbe was a waste for me
But because you didn't want half the food that they gave you.
because I didn't want. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't want half the food. I just it didn't have the flavor.
It was the
Um,
bacon that hit you.
yeah,
It was the
it
bacon. How you gonna
was.
serve me non-tasting, supposed to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
tasty bacon?
it was the bacon and some of the other stuff that I just didn't eat. Like it
They
was
bacon was their bacon was keto.
anyway.
It
So
was
so yeah.
it was
So unfortunately, even though the experience was awesome, like I think if you want to do it for the experience. But the food, mm,
where was that? Was that on the ship?
so yeah, it was on the ship. All of these, well, except for one, was on the ship. This one was on, I want to say the sixth or seventh floor.
So would you say each floor had some different types of foods?
Nope, it just they were either on the 15 where the galley was because I don't know if there's any other restaurants on the 15th floor, but or they were on the sixth or seventh floor.
Okay, which makes sense. They probably put halfway for the people on the bottom of the ship and come up halfway. People on the top of the ship can either come down halfway or go up one.
Hmm,
Gotcha.
interesting. So yeah, so that was Gumbe.
I like the name of this place. The name of this place, ladies and gentlemen, is Razzle Dazzle, and I like it because it's something like you'd go to church and like an old guy that's like 84 named Harry, he just like come over to you and he'll be like, "Hey, Collis, boy, your hair looking like a little razzle dazzle," some weird shit like that. I don't know. That's what it remind me of, though. Go ahead.
So anyway, uh, the cool thing about the ship is that you also had to make you need to make reservations for some of these restaurants in order to go because I mean they're free, so anybody can go to them. So it's very one of the things that I wish that we would have done better is planned out the restaurants and actually got reservations like ahead of time so we knew exactly because we kind of had to fend and try to find reservations even though they leave some reservations open for some people who didn't actually make reservations and are doing walk-ups. But I would have probably should have done reservations. So for Razzle Dazzle was actually really good. The thing that we had there, the thing that I had there was fried chicken.
Mm,
It was some good old fried chicken and a biscuit.
yummy.
So it was, the biscuit, reminded us from Love That Chicken from Popeyes.
But the chef was from Kentucky.
So anyway, so it was actually good. It was dark meat, which most on the trip, I don't think that they even served any white meat. I think everything was dark meat.
I fucking
So
hate that saying. First off, what is dark meat and what is white meat? I've never seen dark and white meat. When I make chicken, the meat all looks the same. When I have turkey, it all looks the
but
same. Okay, that's a lie. A little bit brown, but why they call it dark meat and
because
white meat? And I just don't like those terms being in the same sentence. Anyways, dark meat, white meat. I want me some white meat. I want me some dark meat. Move on.
I,
Move on.
but I
No,
can't.
no,
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 I no.
no.
We have to talk about this. So the dark meat is the leg and the thigh,
Why is it dark?
and because it actually is when it's cooked, it is darker
And why is it
than.
close to their behind? The animal.
I don't know why it's closer
So
because
is
the
it
leg's not necessarily. I mean, there's a leg and the thigh, but there's
okay?
it's
Where do white meat
also
come from?
the white meat is the breast and the wing. So the breast and the wing, and it's typically drier. So some people actually prefer the dark meat. Why are you laughing? Because I touched my bosoms.
No, no.
Um, because dark meat is actually more has more fat in it. It's actually more moist than the wing and the thigh and the wing and the breast.
White meat dry, dark meat
So
moist.
yes.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so we had sorry that we had to subject y'all to that foolishness. So it was actually very good. And I asked them to cook mine well because a lot of times when restaurants they cook it to their well done, but I need mine
Well
crispy
done.
and because I don't like it slimy or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it was actually very good. And they had like a honey sauce that you could dip it in with the biscuit and everything with the biscuit. So it was actually very good. And then for dessert, I actually had creme brulee. A lot of people don't like creme brulee because it's the custard with the hard sugar, topping.
Topping.
But it's actually one of my favorite desserts. So I actually got it, and it was good. But I mean, it was creme brulee. It wasn't anything special,
Right. And something you could have got down the street.
right? So
Also, speaking of good creme brulee and a place we need to go, y'all gonna see us at Noka Grill eventually in Midtown, Kansas City. We're gonna make that happen. They had a nice little creme brulee and they make it in front of you and everything, and then they hit it with that fire right in front of you and all that. Anyways,
torch. So someone else got a dessert, and they got like um, a spice cake, and it was a spice cake, and then it had cinnamon ice cream on the side, which was actually I heard very good because they didn't share. And next thing I looked over, and there was an empty plate.
mm.
So yeah,
Fair.
so that actually was razzle dazzle. Razzle dazzle, I actually would taste.
Okay, so the galley taste, Gumbe waste, razzle dazzle
Taste,
taste. So
yes.
taste, waste, taste.
Taste, waste, taste.
We got TWT thus far. This is the fourth one of this video, and this one is called Extra Virgin, but not the one in Crossroads, Kansas City, the one on the boat over the seas.
Over the seas. So yes, so Extroversion was an Italian restaurant that was on the boat. It was on either sixth or seventh floor. The thing that I liked about it first, to begin to start out, the first thing they put in front of you is a charcuterie board, and I love a charcuterie board. Like that is my shit. So it was a very good, as you see, it was a very good charcuterie board. And the thing that I liked about this, and I talked about this to someone else as well, is that it wasn't like a bunch of processed cheese and processed meat. Like as you can see from the picture, you get chunks of Parmesan. You get chunks of blue cheese. I mean, so it was like it was very, very good, very well done. It wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing, but that didn't matter because the quality that was there.
Met the expectations.
Right. So that was really good. So a lot of these restaurants they do courses. They do like four courses or certain things like that. So this was one of the courses that we were able to get this and like some bread and some oil and such. So then you actually get your pre meal thing, so appetizer or whatever you want to call it, And one of the people on the trip, they got the Caesar salad.
Which Carlos thinks is the worst looking Caesar salad on earth. It's a shame that they call this a Caesar salad. It's a disappointing looking Caesar salad. The chef that made this Caesar salad or the sous chef should be strongly disappointed in this Caesar salad debauchery that they put here in this just terrible.
So yeah, so the Caesar salad I heard was okay. They ate the egg that was in the middle, but again, it's one of those things I think that is designed to not fill you up because you have more courses coming after. So I actually got the meatballs. The meatballs were on point. They had a nice, that little crispy bacon. Maybe I need to stop eating so much bacon.
These are meatballs.
So yeah, but the
Why you
meatballs
need
are
to stop eating
actually
so much bacon?
because I eat
Sorry.
a lot of bacon, but the meatballs are actually good. They were very flavorful compared to meatballs at XR Bar that we
Mm-hmm.
had. And the sauce was good, and it had like a melted mozzarella on top. So they were actually really good. I couldn't eat them all just because I knew that there was other, courses coming, but they were very good.
So did you save them for later?
No,
And you didn't eat them with what you're about to talk about.
no. So then I got
Disappointing.
this, and it was, it's like, I think it was like a carbonara. And it was not my favorite. Unfortunately, it was not my favorite. It didn't have a lot of flavor to it. It was really bland. I probably should have had the meatballs with it, but I knew that I still had more food coming, so it was like, eh. And
You're trying to manage your hunger levels.
right, and it even had chunks of bacon in it, but
Woo shit, you've been eating bacon, boy.
that's what I'm saying. Everything had bacon that I got, but anyway, but I didn't like it, so I had a little bit of it, and then I was like, I'm good with that.
Mm.
So for my entree, I chose the roasted chicken. Now the roasted chicken was delicious. It seems like there's a lot going on in this picture, which you'll see. But I really, really liked the chicken. It was very, very tender. It was very well cooked. Where it was like the fall off the bone kind of chicken.
Got me biting my lips looking at this photo.
Didn't you just have some chicken? Chicken eating. But anyway, so that was extra virgin. It was really good. Um, we had the opportunity to do all the different courses, and like I said, I didn't really care much for the carbonara. And then I know your feelings about the salad, the Caesar salad. But overall, I would definitely say that this would be a taste. There were some other people on the cruise that did not like extra virgin, but my experience, with my chicken and things like that, I actually
Charcuterie board.
the charcuterie board. I think that probably kind of between that and the meatballs and the roasted chicken,
Gave you the perfect amount of points to call it a taste.
it is definitely a taste.
It
So
wasn't an over the top taste, but it definitely reached the borderline line of taste.
yes,
That's what it sounds like.
yes.
Sounds like that charcuterie board was like ding 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 ding. And you're like, ah, ah, ah. I don't know what I'm talking about. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we just covered 4 restaurants of 8. Why do I say that? Because this is part 1. This is part 1. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of these restaurants, the Gali, taste, Gunbay, waste, Razzle Dazzle, taste, and for the win, extra virgin, taste. So that's 3 tastes, 1 waste. That's a win for part 1, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever want to go on the
Virgin voyages.
Virgin Voyages, then you should rewatch this video before you go on there to decide, what type of vibe might I expect. But we're not done yet. Part 2 coming soon.